All right. Hey, everybody. I want to let you know I have a crazy setup going on. So my camera is here, my iPad is here, my two monitors are here, and my laptop is here. So if it doesn't look like I'm actually looking at you, when I'm looking this way, I'm actually looking at you. So just to give you that heads up. So we have an absolute ton to cover today. I decided last minute to try fit two things into one, which always goes well. So we're gonna really scamper through it. Hopefully we get to finish it. If we get stuck on the first one, then we just won't move on to the next one and vice versa. But just out of a show of hands with the whopping four people who have the cameras on, or five people, who here has ever done a 135 or a 411? Okay, awesome. Who here has ever looked at a project in real estate and was like, um, I really have no idea how to get this started? Has anybody ever had that experience as I lose my camera? Awesome. All right. And lastly, who has ever woken up one day and been like, I have absolutely no idea what I need to do today? Awesome. I love it. Okay, so what I want everybody to do is there's an attachment that's set off to the side in the chat box. If you download this attachment and follow along with me, that's awesome. This is something that I'm going to show you and then you can do on your own time. So let me share my screen. Oops, hold on. Oh, are you, Sarah, are you still sharing your screen?
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Totally. Here we go.
Okay, so as this pulls up, what we're doing, I'm going to show you the power of a 135. What a 135 is when we take any goal that we're looking for and we're trying to break it down to figure out how do we do it. So for example, some of these goals, everybody can see that okay if I'm correct, by the way?
Yeah.
So some of these goals could be things like I want to make $500,000 this year, or I want to do 35 deals from social media, or it can be personal goals. I want to get into shape. I want to lose weight and build muscle. I want to eat healthier. I want to save. I want to go on vacations, blah, blah, blah. Whatever case may be, that is what a 135 is. Now, today we're just going to do a very basic one, and you're going to see the rabbit hole hopefully you see the rabbit hole that this goes into. So let's say that our on a 135, our goal is 50 deals. So that's the big goal that I'm going to rate at the top. That's the one thing, if by doing it, I will consider my year to be completely successful. Okay. Now, the next three things. So this is your one thing. Your next three things is what by doing these three things will I accomplish that one big goal, right? So as we look out into the world now, let's start off with the obvious. We can start off with lead generation. And you have a choice. You can either break it down at this moment to talk about individual types of lead generation. So you could put in door knocking, open houses, whatever case may be, into the number one slot. Just for the sake of showing you how this is done, I'm going to put in lead generation. Okay, we're going to keep it very broad so people can fill it out. Now, I'm going to throw this out there because this is where I want the brains to start working. Is okay, so if one is lead generation, we know I need to do that to achieve my 50 deals. What's one other thing by doing it this year or the next 365 days, I will accomplish that goal? What's something else that I can put into there? Okay, not all at once. Let's do it one at a
Follow
time.
up,
What's
follow
that,
up,
sorry?
follow up.
Follow up. Okay, so we'd have follow up. What else would there be? Let's go more generalized.
Social
So,
media.
so social media. So we're going to do that. Social media would be under our lead gen portion of it. And I'm just going to write it down so I don't forget it. Okay. So who here has never sorry, Tifa, did you want to say something there?
I was gonna break it down to a daily or a weekly.
So 100%, we will be breaking it down to the daily or weekly, but we want to go to the big generalization. So
How
who
many
here
appointments?
thinks that when you get into real estate, you can just do 50 deals without learning anything? Right? Or is it a mindset? Like is 50 deals a mindset or what is it? Like so I'm going to put down education because as I get into these things, might have no idea how to accomplish this. My business might have been a 10 deal a year business, and I might need to work on my mindset. I might need to work on my systems, but somehow I'm going to have to educate myself to achieve that. Okay. Now, if anybody here has families, has kids or a wife, 50 deals, especially if you're on like a 50-50 buyer and seller, it would be nice if they all broke out nicely into 4 or 5 deals a month. But just by a show of hands or nods, does real estate ever work that way where it just breaks out nicely and evenly throughout the year? No. Usually 1 month you have like 12 deals, you're ready to cut your head off and you're going crazy. And then the next month you have absolutely nothing, right? So something else I might need to accomplish that by doing so is leverage and or systems. Okay. So would we agree that by doing these 3 things, if I lead generated, I educated myself and worked on my mindset, and I had leverage and systems in place, by doing those 3 things, I would accomplish the 50 deal a year goal? Make sense? So hard on these on Zoom sometimes. Okay. So now this is where the 5 things comes into play. And I think it was you, Alex, that mentioned social media, and that's perfect. So under lead generation, what 5 things do I need to focus on in lead generation? So one of them can be social media. What might be another thing to focus on? Marina?
Like networking, going to events.
Networking. Perfect.
Dialing. Dial for dollars.
What was that? Eileen?
Dialing. Dialing the
Dialing.
phone.
Okay, so calls. Okay, so we have 3 lead generation here. I'm going to see the chat. I don't always have my chat opened up. Property boost. Yes, Jacqueline, I love property boost. Okay, so we have 3 forms of lead generation, but now I want to expand the thought process outside of that. What else in the lead gen world doesn't necessarily have to be a direct form of lead generation, but what else would you need to do to accomplish your lead gen goals? So let's just say open houses is one of our goals. What would I actually need to do to accomplish open houses? And I want you to think very basic, not a trick question.
Do your research,
Do the
your
research,
knowledge.
knowledge. So under the lead gen, we're also going to put research and knowledge. What else do you actually need to do, even more basic than that?
You need to find an open house to host.
Find them. If you don't find them, then you're not going to have anything to host. Now, when we look at social media, everybody, and I love social media, a lot of people in social media are like, oh, let's just go do it. But who here has done 20 deals from social media, let alone 50? Is very few and far in between. So under my lead generation, and some of these columns will double up, but what might I need to do under my lead generation for that? I might need to educate. I might need to attend classes. So under lead generation, under the 5 things I need to do to accomplish this, education might get thrown into this mix. Okay. So is this making sense how these 5 things, how I'm boiling down 5 things under lead generation, that by doing so, I accomplish my lead generation goal, which then I accomplish my 50 deals. Does that part make sense so far?
Yes.
Clear as mud. Awesome. Okay. So now I'm going to shift on to education. If I'm looking at a calendar year or the last 6 months, this might be my either places I want to focus on learning, or things that actual courses I want to take. So I'm relatively new to EXP. I've been with EXP for 6 months now. The big conference like EXP Con, do they have breakout sessions and all the rest? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming a lot of it would be very similar. So when we look at that education, what might be either an area of focus or a particular class I might want to take, or an event I might want to take for those 5 things? So I just said one.
Scripting.
Sorry?
Scripting.
Scripting. Oh, I love that one. Thank you so much for that one. Because is scripting like a one-time class like EXPCon, or is it should be every morning?
Technology.
Every morning.
Coaching. Technology. Now, because we're in a course with a whole bunch of diverse people, we can make this obviously a lot more than 5 things. But yet, when you're doing this on a personal level, keep it to 5 things. You don't if you're going past 5 things, you're going too broad or too narrow. So, in what you're talking about, so we might have EXPCon, we might work on scripting. We might so tech is very narrow. So maybe what you might focus on for the remainder of 2024 is AI, right? I'm trying to think of one other thing. This could even just be market education. Okay, so now I have a set of goals for the 2024, for the remainder of 2024 under education. Now I'm going to shift over to leverage and systems. Okay, so under leverage and systems, what leverage or systems might I want to put into place for the remainder of 2024? And start off with the easy one. What should your first hire be?
A CRM?
First hire. Admin. I like that CRM, by the way. Well, I don't know why I'm gapping out on the acronym. Okay. So on a leverage part, you might hire an admin. If you're newer, you might pick your CRM or your technology, your websites. What other form of leverage might you have when you're doing 50 deals a year?
Referrals.
Referrals. You might get your referral system in place. I won't do VAs. Perfect. VAs. We're going to put ISA with that. Maybe you do internet leads. Like there's a great part of internet leads where you do get a whole bunch in and then you get an ISA to do all your calls. So you might have your ISA for leverage. What else would there be for leverage? Like or systems that you want? Who here has their Okay, so this is something I'm working on right now on a personal level, ironically after 14 years, but when you know me, it's me. Who here has their listing process down pat? Everything from dropping off your pre-listing package to having your appointment absolutely memorized to exactly what your follow-up looks like to all your checklists and everything else. Do we think that would be a good system to have into place to maximize our closing ratios on all of our listing appointments?
100%.
So we're going to have our listing package, buyer package. These are all the things that the leverage and systems that are going to make your life easier to do 50 deals. Because when you get to a 50 deal point, especially as an individual agent, life is no longer cupcakes and butterflies. It is like hectic, big pieces of mess sometimes without these systems. It's one of the biggest things that stop us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So this 135, you might have noticed where this rabbit hole might go. I probably should have given myself a second one, but I didn't. So the next thing you might do is be like, oh, well, that's very generalized. So I'm now going to do a 135 over social media. So I'm going to do a second 135 on social media. And this is where, again, I might break down into 3 things. I might put Facebook, right? Or even all social media types. I might put education. Education for me is almost always in there. And then I might put data tracking because if you're using social media, but you're not tracking your likes, your follows, and all your events, then you don't know what's working or not. Maybe that's what you put into play. So when you do social media, you can do a 135 over social media. When you do open houses, maybe you want more success over open houses. So then you put the educate, like the lead generation of open houses. Your one might be education of area and scripting and all the rest. Another one might be the door knocking plan that goes around it, blah, 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 whatever case may be. Do you guys see how the 135 can really break down any goal to start making it a manageable piece?
Yes, this is
Right?
totally brilliant.
So now what's really nice is I can look at this and be like, oh, what do I need to do right now? Oh, social media. I need to work on my networking. Like networking is a huge one. I can do a 1-3-5 over networking. You can plan out your events. You can plan your scripts. You can plan your follow-ups. You can plan your giveaways, plan your preferred vendors, and it helps organize the system. And then what we do is we're going to shift this into what we call a 411. So before I shift that, are there any questions directly regarding this document? Okay, cool. If there is, feel free to type them away or interrupt. Okay, so your 411 is now how we're going to get a little more specific. So our 135s that we created, this now is going to be my 50 deals this year, right? This might be, so this might be a business. By the way, again, for those who know me, I'm an atrocious speller. So if you're a high C, I'm going to drive you nuts. Might be my personal goals. So my business goals might be 50 deals. My business goals might be 10,000 followers on social media. I have no idea what that should be good. So really what I'm doing is I'm taking my 1-3-5s that I created to break down, and I'm taking the big goals, the yearly goals, and I'm shifting them into my year. So I'll use myself as an example. So maybe under a personal goal, I might be like, so I currently weigh 225. I might say I want to weigh 200 pounds, right? I might say I want to take that $10,000 cruise with my family. So this is where your personal goals are now coming into play that you want to get done at some point through that year. Okay. Now, again, for the purpose of time and example, and because we already did the 1-3-5 around it, we're going to focus on our 50 deals. Okay. And now I can go back up here and I can reference the things that I need to do. For example, is EXPCon this month in August? No. So when I come down to my 1-3-5, my monthly EXPCon might not be there. But what will be there is, can I script, say, 20 days this month? So I'm going to get a script partner. So 20 days of scripting. That was a part of our education. Now, out of that 50 deals, again, we want to be realistic because you're not doing 4.5 deals every single month or whatever that works out to be. What you're most likely doing is in January, you might have done 2-3 deals, but in May, you might have done 8 deals. For some reason, August has always historically been a good month for me, so I might do 10 deals. Yet in July, which is historically a bad month, I might only do 2 deals. So if I'm looking at this month of August, because we're going to plan for our next month, maybe I'm going to put in 6 deals. That is what my goal is for that month to get done. Okay. Remember, up here, I put in open houses. So if I want to take one weekend off, that's 6 open houses I need to do. All I'm doing is I'm just translating the things that I said I would do. I said I would door knock, right? So I need to put in Anna just did this amazing door knocking thing for us yesterday. So every 100 door knocks, I get a lead. So that's not people talking to, and I want to talk to 100 people a week. So maybe that's 500. Maybe I want to door knock 2,000 doors this month. I don't even know if that's realistic, but we're going to put that in there, right? So this is where I'm just now taking AI. Maybe this month, I have no idea how AI is. So maybe one of my goals this month will be to research my AI. And maybe one of my goals might be to plan the networking event, even though we're not going to do it. All I'm doing is creating my list of what I want to get done this month. Make sense? And then lastly, I'm now taking this information and I'm shifting it down to my weekly schedule. So I know I needed to script 20 days. So that's 5 days a week. So this week I need to do 5 days of scripting. Now, maybe I'm like, I don't even have a script partner. So maybe I'm going to have to actually make this 15 days because I don't have a script partner and I got to find a script partner. Right? I said I wanted to do 6 deals. Well, that means I want to do 2 deals this week. Now, again, all I'm doing is I'm setting my ideal week right now. I'm not necessarily saying I have absolutely nothing on the go. And I'll be honest with you, if you have no buyers on the go, if you have no listings on the go, you have no nothing, you're not going to do 2 deals this week. Like you have to do the lead generation. So maybe you're not putting that in this week. Maybe you're going to put that in week 3 where you do 4 to 6 deals, right? I need to book my 2 open houses. I said I'd knock 2,000 doors. I need to knock 500 doors this week. That's 100 a day. Anna, you're here. How long does it take you to just door knock 100 doors?
As I said, depending on the area, in subdivisions, it's about 100, okay, it's 60, okay, it's about maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. If it's like rural area, it's longer.
Awesome. So
if it's rural, I usually don't do it in more than 50.
perfect. Okay, so I want to get, let's say I only have 2 hours to go today, or let's say I have a very short time. So maybe I'm going to pick townhouse areas so I can get through door knocking those 100 doors in an hour and a half, right? So I'm going to door knock the 500 doors. Maybe I'm going to sit down and say, okay, maybe my networking event isn't on my radar. I have too much. But either way, I've now created the list of what I need to get done this week. Okay. Now, I didn't think I was going to have enough time to even get through what I have, but I have 3 minutes. So there's 2 things I'm going to say. So what you would now do next is just shift this into your time blocking calendar. So you might turn around and say 5 days of scripting. Well, Anna brought up scripting. Maybe she's a good script partner. Someone reaches out to Anna and say from 8:30 to 9 o'clock every day, we're going to get on the phone call and we're going to script. 2 deals, obviously I can't just go ahead and do that, but I'm going to block off my evenings for showings. I need to go ahead and block off my open house time. And I also need to block off a day to find the open houses and do the research. So maybe I find and do the research on Tuesday. That's when I start calling people for open houses, getting one, and then researching the area, right? Maybe, I don't know what your guys' experience is, but when I do door knocking, I find morning the best time to door knock. I don't know why, just people are happier and all the rest. So maybe I do my door knocking from 10 to 12, and I'm going to time block that in there. Okay. Now, this is going to be a lot fuller than what I'm putting in here at the moment because this is supposed to fill up a work week. But let's say, okay, so I did everything, but I couldn't find open houses, right? So all I do on week 2 is I just move it over. My first thing on my next week are the 2 things or the things that I didn't get done. Okay. So what we're doing is we're pre-filling in the year, the month, and the week that's ahead of us. And then come next Sunday or Monday morning, you're now shifting everything from the week before over that you did not get done. And then now you're recreating the list. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is not a to-do list that should bring you guilt and shame and build up this resentment. If you're looking at this list and it is a massive mountain ahead of you, because sometimes we see that, like I sometimes look at my laundry and I am like, I cannot climb that crap today. If that's what this list looks like, then I want to shift the framing of what this list is. This list is an organizational tool to show you what you need to do and to help keep you accountable, right? Although give yourself permission, especially at the start, to fail at some things on this list, because right now you have no idea what you're capable of. You have no idea if 500 doors this week is not enough or too many. Anna will, because she door knocks all the time, so she can get that down crystal clear. Yet when you're starting a new project, you don't have a clue. So we're using this as a test and measure, right? As things go on, and a reference that we can keep going back to. Now, if you're on coming up to Friday and you're like, oh man, all I did was play video games and binge watch old episodes of Friends. Yeah, I'm not saying give yourself permission to be okay with that. You still want to make sure to get the work done. Yet this is not so much, it's a to-do list, but it's not a to-do list. It shouldn't be treated as that mountain. Give yourself permission to fulfill it. And then come the next week, analyze your week and say, I could have done more. I could have done less. So the example I give on this is I met a guy who was coaching somebody once who said, I am working way too much and I'm not spending as much time with my family. So the guy said, okay, well, let's shift your goal from 35 deals down to 25 deals. And we're going to take 2 hours a week off your plate that you can go on date night and spend time with your family through your 411. And so they agreed to that. come back to the next coaching session. He goes, so how was the 2 hours with your family? And he said, oh, I didn't get a chance to do that. Well, you just took 2 hours off your week. So this is where you can give yourself permission to take 2 hours off your week for your family, but then you have to follow up with that 2 hours with your family. Okay. So that's how I view this 411 going forward. And this is how I break down my year. It's like a navigation tool. I'm constantly rechecking it, constantly redoing it. Any questions about that? Woo, 25 minutes. I can't believe I got through both. Quick.
Not a question. It's not a question. It's just suggestion. So it's very important to, how do we figure out 50 deals? So we have to calculate and we have to, get the statistics, right? From 100 houses, how many deals I've got? I mean, not deals, leads, right? From open houses, we have also to do all that stats to figure out which is more effective for me, for example.
Mm-hmm. So I think you bring up something really good there that with more time, we'd love to deep dive into is you're right. So number one, this will also help us find our top 20%, whether you're newer or you're experienced. Maybe you started a new adventure of door knocking and internet leads and open houses. And maybe this is what you're focusing on through the year. But this is also where you hold your lead generation accountable back, where it's like, hey, okay, the year is done. I achieved my 50 deals. Awesome. I got 30 from open houses. I got 15 from online leads, and then I got 5 from door knocking. Well, if you take that door knocking time and reevaluate it and shift it into your online leads, maybe that helps, or whatever your top 20% is. Number one. Number two, you're correct as well. Know your numbers. You have to keep your 135 accountable through your numbers. If you choose social media, which is very easy to choose, but very hard to do, if you choose social media as one of yours, and you're 6 months and you don't have any clients from social media, then you need to start filling out your education. You need to start filling out your scripting, or you need to shift on to a different form of lead generation, my friend, because there's something that you're doing that's not working. Usually I give everything about a 90 to 120 day test sample. If after 90 days, I don't have a single lead from it, and I've felt like I've done it properly, then that's a problem in itself. So
good. Any other questions before we release you all into the wild again? Thanks, Anna, for the thumbs up.
All right. Well, I hope this really helps. Again, it's a lot of information very quickly, so I hope it really does help organize things. Sarah, I'm going to do a shameless plug, and I don't even have my link, so I'm going to quickly get a link for it and post it into the chat. Dion, Allen, and I are hosting a podcast, and this is exactly the stuff that we're talking about every single week. So let me throw in a plug, just a quick plug, copy link. This was not planned. I hope it's okay.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
This is the Spotify version of it. Like literally we're talking door knocking, goal setting. Like it's basically education classes just in a conversation. As I said, Anna was on there to talk door knocking. I think maybe, cross our fingers, we'll have Courtney on there and a few others talk YouTube, cold calling. And we do go through this 411 really more in depth on there as well. So please check it out, listen to it, and hopefully that will help you along the way too. Thanks for having me.